our app is called SnapnDose. I'm Neeraj, I'm the apper, and Booth and David are the programmers. So, the most common reason parents come to see me as a pediatrician is fever, and they're most concerned about that symptom. Most of the time, I tell them their child has a viral illness, and they just need to do supportive care for their child, which includes hydration, giving them lots of fluids, and controlling their fever using antipyretics or anti-fever medications. Two anti-fever medications are acetaminophen and ibuprofen. They have different dosage and frequencies, and on the left of the screen you can see 5 different examples of Tylenol. They actually all have the same strength, but come in 5 different flavors. And on the right side of the screen, you can see nearly 2 identical bottles of Advil. They have a few differences between them. They're the same flavor, but the strength of the one on the extreme right is actually double the one on the left. So this confusion in terms of strength, brands, flavors, and other variances between the different types of medications leads to ineffective underdosing and often unintentional overdosing, leading to serious medical side effects and sometimes even fatal effects in children. So that leads us to our app, which is the goal of which is to increase caregivers' ability to appropriately dose common over-the-counter liquid medications to children by allowing caregivers to record child profiles, add and maintain a drug inventory, calculate and administer the appropriate dose of medication, and track and set reminders for medication administration and symptoms.
So I'm going to give you a quick design overview. On the top left there is our child manager, which allows you to add child profiles, so your name, weight, and date of birth. On the bottom left is the drug inventory manager that allows the user to either enter the DIN or snap a picture, which is where our application gets its name, SnapnDose, and it automatically pulls the information from online databases. And on the right is the med session manager, which basically allows you to pull a child and drug into what we call a med session. Once a med session is created, we offer 4 main functionality. The first is dosage administration as well as tracking. The second is symptom tracking. The third is reminders for dosage administration as well as symptom checking. And finally, we offer the ability for the user to see the history of the entire medication session, including dosage administration and symptom checking information.
Okay, so for this demo, you have to pretend it's 2 a.m. First time parents, Pooja and David, are leaving the emergency room after being told their child, who's 1 year old, his name is Ben, has a fever due to a virus. And so I prescribe them acetaminophen and give them this app to help them safely administer the medication to their child. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is we want to add Ben to the app. So I'm going to click on the child, and I'm going to add a child. And I'll type your child's name in. Just Ben. There. And I'll enter his weight in kilograms, which is 12.5. And I'll enter his age, which he's 1 year old, so as of today. And then for the photo, I'll select a photo from the gallery. There we go, and then I will save Ben. And now it's going to ask me if I'd like to add this to a med session. I wouldn't right now because I don't know which drug they're going to buy from the pharmacy. So I'm going to click cancel, and I'm going to pass it off, to David.
Great. And now I'm at the pharmacy. I got the drug that I need. Now I need to add this information into my app. So what I do is I quickly go to the drug list and press the add button. Here I can either input the DIN number manually, or I can use the camera to snap the drug within the light. Sorry for the flicker. Here, this is the snapping screen where it prompts me to select please put the DIN number in the center of the box. And click to focus. No. And hold it steady until it's recognized. Okay. Now I see it. I say OK to confirm. And the app automatically grabs the information of the drug for me. So I press save. Here it asks me to add a child to create a new math session. Now at this point, I can say yes and add the child that was previously created by Niraj. Here is our lovely Ben. And press calculate to see the dosage. Now at this point, I can even go to the pharmacist to ask whether this makes sense, 2.3 milliliter. And I'm happy with that. Go home and hand it over to Pooja.
So now I'm here a couple of hours later, and I'm actually ready to administer the dosage to Ben. And so I can click on the dosage icon, and it shows me what I need to administer. At this point, I'm going to actually administer the drug. And I get a pop-up saying, would you like to set a reminder? And it's actually setting it automatically for 4 hours from now, which is what the recommended interval is for dosing. And so I'm going to say set. And just for the purposes of this app, I'm going to get a reminder right away.
Which?
And right there. And so it says it's time, and I can either dismiss snooze or see more. If I see more, it shows me again the information, so I'm just going to dismiss it. Now I can also enter fever information, so I'm going to go into the observation log, and I'm just going to type in fever observation. I'm going to record that, and it again asks me if I want to set a reminder for the fever as well. I'm just going to say no. And now I can see all of my reminders, so you'll see the reminder that I had there for the first dosing. I can add new ones. And finally, I can go back and also see the whole history. And so right now, all I have there is the dosage and fever administration, or sorry, dosage administration and fever. But I'm just going to show you an example of another medication session that has a lot more observations. So right there for there we go. So you can turn on and off the different types of. That's pretty much it for the demo. So we basically, achieved all the functionality that we set out to. Open source libraries are a great thing for text recognition and graphing, and we're just going to go over some of the lessons learned. So David's going to take you through that.
Sure. So the lessons learned include the following. We had one programmer doing the back end and the other programmer doing the front end. And we found out that this works in the initial stage building the framework. However, we ran into problems with integration and debugging, so we would have integrated earlier to solve this problem to avoid the different problems we faced. The other thing we learned is early feedbacks from the user is particularly helpful. It helps us to narrow down the vision as well as the core functionalities of our app. The other one is the drug formulary database that we rely on to get the dosage recommendation is very messy due to the fact that physicians don't necessarily agree on the standard to how to dose the child depending on the drug. So that brings us to our future work, which is to add ability to edit the formulary on the physician side, optimize the DIN recognition for different packages, add decision support prompts and logics in the app, engage graphic designer to improve the UI, do more user testings, and consider the possibility to move the drug database online. So that concludes our app.
One question. Is it possible to mix medication? Like sometimes pediatricians, they prefer to mix every 4 hours this one and then the next one.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. So that's where, right now we just show Tylenol, but there's lots of other, like ibuprofen is the other medication, and that runs every 6 hours. So you would have a separate medication session so that you would have the two separately running, so that you wouldn't get mixed up in terms of which medication to administer.
And one thing we didn't actually demonstrate is we actually do have dose limits as well on each medication, and we have the ability to monitor that, so we can make sure that you don't overdose your child. So once you get to your dose limit, it'll actually give you a reminder saying that you're done for the day.
there any extra data on the drugs themselves, like contraindications or whether to use with other drugs? More information about the medication itself. Would that be good?
Yeah, not at this time. That's sort of like we're thinking about decision support. So like if it's like, oh, your kid is too sick, or you're gonna give your child too much, or ability to link once they enter the drug information, just link to the website of the company that has the drug information for stuff like that. So again, it's geared towards parents more than clinicians, but yeah, for sure, there's lots more information we can add.
Yeah, I mean the boxes of Tylenol have these little pamphlets with all the detailed information.
Right.
So
Yeah, it'd be good to include that.
yeah. Great. Cool.